feeling separation from Krishna when he goes out into the forest, and how to reconcile that with Astakavya Lila, when we know that Krishna meets with Radhika during the day. So they're lamenting and they repeat, but yet we also know that he's meeting with them.
Well, that is very simple. You have to just look at the context. The context is Purvarag. Purvarag means the awakening of new love in the state of separation prior to having the chance to meet. That means that the gopis have fallen in love with Sri Krishna, but they have not yet had the chance to meet with him. Because it's Srimad Bhagavatam chapter 21. So the Rasa Lila doesn't begin until chapter 29.
I thought that was 35.
No. 35 is Yugal Geet.
I'm sorry. I meant Yugal Geet.
Oh, you meant Yugal Geet. Oh, well, that's a totally different question.
I did. I'm sorry. I didn't Yugal Geet. Yeah.
So, in Renu Geet, the answer is very clear because the Radha and Krishna, they have not met yet. Also, because, one thing to consider is because of the nature of Prem, the nature of Anurag, that Anurag makes the experience of Krishna and the experience of love new and fresh. So Purvarag, or the feeling of separation from Krishna before having met with him, can also be experienced after having met with him. Because the gopis, they can become forgetful that they ever met with him. It's one of the symptoms of Mahabhav, that Mohadya Bhave Pyatmadi Sarvam Vismaranam Sada. That when Mahabhav appears, it causes a person to forget everything. And so, though Purvarag is a love prior to meeting, but even after meeting, it can be again experienced due to the influence of Anurag or Mahabhav, making the gopis feel as if they've never met with him. And so there's something called Pratama Samagama. Pratama Samagama means the first meeting. And there's also such a thing that another meeting after the first meeting is also experienced as if it were the first meeting as well. So then Yugal Geet it seems very similar to Venu Geet. You can see, I gave a class in the Lachua last year, comparing the bhavs of the 5 different Geets. I don't know if you heard that. So, where's my singer making breakfast? So he was saying, organize the program. So you can look, last year, in my seminars in Alachua, and I spoke on how each Geet has its own unique bhav. So with Yugal Geet, it's chapter 35. It takes place after the Rasa Lila. And so you'll see that it is called a prouder Prem, mature. The Prem has become so mature now. Why? Because even though the feeling of separation before the Rasa Lila, before meeting with Krishna at Purvarag, that separation was intense. But once Radha and Krishna met, and they've united with each other, and in their loving pastimes, Naso Ramana Nahama Ramani Durmanu Manubhav Peshlajani, Radhika experiences, I am not the beloved and he is not my lover. Cupid has melted our hearts and made us one. Once they've experienced that intensity of oneness with each other, then the separation that comes after that is many, many times more intense than the separation before meeting. And so, Yugal Gita is the prouder Prem. Love has been intensified to higher and higher states. So even though there is a lot of similarity in Yugal Gita, you can see the gopis describe how the demigoddesses in the sky become attracted to Krishna, and they're fainting in the laps of their husbands, just like Venugita does. It will describe how the cows, they stop chewing and they raise their ears and they hear the sound of Krishna, just like Venugita does. It will describe how the Jamuna River becomes stunned in a way similar. None of the verses are exactly the same, but some of the topics, the themes, the same motifs are there. But the difference is this. In Venugita, the gopis are speaking about nature, the way that the trees respond to Krishna's flute, the way the demigods respond, and so on, and the cows and the peacocks. But their mood is, alas, alas, I am so unfortunate that even though even the creatures and plants, they completely give up their dharma and their behavior becomes opposite to their real nature by the influence of Krishna's flute. But I am so unfortunate that I cannot give up my dharma and I cannot just drop everything and leave the house and go and meet with Krishna. I have some fear. So that sentiment is there in Venugita. But in Yugal Gita, the actual mood is, oh, just see, everything is changing its dharma due to the influence of Krishna's flute. So why not us? Let's not wait anymore. At once we should go and meet with Krishna. So there's a much more, the prem is more intense, and the gopis are, the dhwani, that means the suggestion of their words is not, I'm so unfortunate we cannot go. The dhwani of the words is, let's go at once, without delay, and try to meet with Sri Krishna. Now, it is said that after the Rasa Lila, Krishna and the gopis were then going and meeting secretly in the forest every night. And then in the day, they are in separation. And this separation is now more intense than the separation in the day previously, before they met, because of the reasons we've already discussed. And so at the point of Yugal Gita, the gopis' lives are divided into two. The nighttime pastimes of the intense joy of meeting, and then the daytime pastimes of the greater intensity of separation than ever before. And so, Krishna, he cannot tolerate the gopis' more intense separation. And so, in order to solve this problem, that okay, we don't have a problem at night because now we're meeting, but in the day it's become worse than before. So to solve this problem, you'll see after chapter 35, what's the next chapter? Because the next chapter will answer your question.
The slaying of Arista the bull demon.
Oh yeah. Okay.
The slaying of Aristasur. You see?
Yeah.
So that's the answer to your question.
Yes. Got it. Radhakund.
Yes. Because there's no Radhakund until Aristasur is killed.
Got it.
You see? So chapter 36 is the answer to chapter 35.
Yeah.
You understand? The Rasa Lila is complete in chapter 33. In chapter 34, the Brajbasis, they go to Ambikavan to celebrate the Shivaratri. So they travel very far, and then also Krishna has many chances to meet with Braj Gopis in different disguises. I don't know, do you know this pastime?
No, just from the time.
And then, no,
Yeah.
if you have not heard my class on this subject. Okay, so there was some relief there because Krishna could meet with the Braj Gopis during the day, during that festival in Ambikavan. But when they returned back to Braja, now the nights are full of joy, but the days are more painful than ever before. That's chapter 35. So this is now a big problem, and Krishna thinks how to solve this problem. And so then, Yogamaya, understanding the desire of Krishna, sends Aristasur. Krishna kills Aristasur. The gopis say, you can't touch us because you killed Aristasur. Then Krishna makes Shamakund, and Radhika makes Radhakund. And after that, now you can have, now this Astakalilu that you're inquiring about can take place with the meetings at midday in Radhakund and so on. You understand? So, See, Krishna's pastimes when he comes to this world are a mixture of Nitya and Naimitika Lila. And also a mixture of some Golok Tattva and some Braj Tattva as well. Because in the spiritual world there's the Braj Tattva which is pure Parakya and so on. And there's some, the outer aspect of that, the Vaibhav Prakash, the opulent feature of Braja Gokul is Golok. So when Krishna comes to this world, then there's a mixture of Nitya and Naimitic, eternal pastimes and occasional pastimes, and also a mixture of the Golok Tattva and the Braj Tattva and the Gokul Tattva as well, when he manifests his Leela in this world. So, but if a person just reads the flow of Srimad Bhagavatam, unless they are rasik or realized, they will not understand the context or which aspect of the Leela Yogamaya is manifesting here in the prakat, in the manifest pastimes in this world. So now we've answered according to the crown of Srimad Bhagavatam. Venugit is Purvarag, they haven't met. Then the Rasalila takes place. After the Rasalila, now not meeting the day becomes an extreme problem due to the maturity of their brain. And so to solve that, Yogamaya brings Aristasura, then Radhakund is manifest, and now the more aspects of the Nitya Lila, of the Astakali Lila can be manifested here within the Prakat Lila. This is one thing. But there's another consideration. And that is that the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam can also be taken out of the context that they're in Srimad Bhagavatam as well. And so even verses from Venugit or Yugal Gita and so on, they can be used in meditation of the devotees in connection with the Astakali Lila as well. So one Vaishnava in the line of Raghunath Bhatta Goswami named Nityananda Bhatta Goswami. He's actually the father of Achyuta Bhatta Goswami. He has written a book where he's collected all the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam from many places, which are, if you take them out, sometimes they in the same context can be there, but sometimes also if you take them out from the context of the flow of the Prakat Lila, then they pertain to the Astakali Lila as well. As that study is called the Astakali Lila in Srimad Bhagavatam. Very good. So we will translate and publish that after some time. Already some of my publication team are working on the manuscript for that. So another consideration is this, that according to Jivas Goswami, the first meeting took place in the Rasalila. But according to Vishnacharya Thakur, Radha and Krishna and sometimes Radha and Chandravali, though Rasalila hasn't taken place, but they've actually met together somehow or other. Also in Kavikandapur's Ananda Vrindavan Champu, Radha Krishna meets with Chandravali first. And then later he has a secret meeting in a cave during the rainy season, before the Rasalila takes place. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, in the commentary, Vishnacharya Thakur describes Krishna meeting with Radhika and the gopis secretly, even as early as chapter 15. And that's hinted in Krishna's words when he's speaking to Balaram in the chapter on the killing of Dhenukasura as well. So the Srimad Bhagavatam has unlimited meanings. And it's not that the different acharyas are contradicting each other, but or to speak of different acharyas having different realizations or pastimes being revealed to them in different ways. Even the same person can realize the Srimad Bhagavatam and the pastimes in different ways on different days as well. Because Krishna Lila is not like we think there's, well, I'm the subject and there's the objective world, and the objective world is one fixed objective truth. But Krishna Lila is not like that. Krishna's pastimes are going on in different prakash. That means there are multiple, actually infinite, multiple dimensions of Krishna Lila. And the Lila is going on. And in each dimension, it goes on in a different way. And so sometimes one day a Vaishnava may be chanting and he enters into this prakash, and sees the Leela goes on in this way, and on another day he's chanting and he enters into this Prakash and the Leela goes on in a different way. And then a person who doesn't understand the multi-dimensional nature of Krishna Leela now is in a dilemma, because they're trying to reconcile irreconcilable features of Krishna's different Leelas. They're trying to reconcile them because they don't understand that his Leela is not like what we're experiencing, everything's going on now in one dimension. But rather there are multiple dimensions. And so there's no need at all to try to reconcile them. Because the ego of each Brijbasi in each dimension, even though the same Brijbasis are in each dimension, the Abhiman, they have Abhiman Bhed, that means each Brijbasi, though they may be present in multiple dimensions, doesn't know about their own self in the other dimension. They only know that dimension that they're in. And that very same Brijbasi in another dimension only knows that dimension. So there's simply no need to reconcile it at all. So these are just some perspectives. There are many perspectives.
So that's why Srila Vishwanath Thakur can describe a certain aspect of a pastime in different ways sometimes.
Yes, different acharyas say different things, and the same acharya on different occasions may say different things according to their realization of that particular prakash. But mainly they're consistent with themselves, mainly, but it's not necessarily so. Just for example, Lalit Madhav, where Krishna goes to Dwarka and then all the gopis become the queens. It doesn't have to tally with the discussion of the queens and the gopis in Srimad Bhagavatam, where Krishna goes to Kurukshetra and the queens come with him from Dwarka to Kurukshetra and the gopis come from Vrindavan. So they're two completely different sets of Shaktis of Krishna. Whereas in Lalit Madhav, the gopis become the queens and there are no separate queens. So you can't reconcile the Bhagavatam with Lalit Madhav, and there's no need to, because these are separate Prakashas. Gaur Premanande Hari Bol.